Have you ever noticed that among people, there are those who always seem one step ahead, who quietly observe, barely speak, yet understand everything around them? These people don't speak unnecessarily. Their silence is not emptiness. It's a tool, a strategy, a way to control the situation, understand people, and remain an invisible force. While others expend energy on arguments, discussions, praise, or criticism, the smart ones observe, analyze, and act. They know that every word has power. Words can be both a weapon and a trap. One wrong comment, an ill-considered admission, or extra information, and everything can go wrong. That's why smart people choose their words carefully and speak rarely. Their silence is filled with meaning, attention to detail, and the ability to anticipate others' reactions. These people understand psychology. They know how emotions influence decisions, how hidden motives govern behavior, and how knowledge about a person can be used to achieve goals without conflict or unnecessary noise. Their strategy is simple but effective. Observe, understand, act at the right moment. Secret 1. Never reveal your goals before achieving them. Many people love to share their dreams and plans. They seek praise, approval, and want to show that they are busy with something meaningful. But smart people know the secret. Talking about your plans before achieving them is dangerous and useless. When we share intentions, the brain gets the feeling that the goal is already accomplished and motivation drops. Example: in an office, one employee loudly talks about a project, promises grand results, and discusses it with everyone. Meanwhile, a smart colleague quietly works, analyzes risks, plans steps, and gathers resources. A month later, the result astounds everyone, and success seems sudden. No one sees how much work and analysis went into it. In personal life, this works the same way. A smart person plans a career, relationships, or important changes, but doesn't share them with friends or acquaintances. They know that others' advice, criticism, or gossip can distract, demotivate, or even harm. Every action is carefully calculated. The power of a smart person lies in silence, preparation, and strategic approach, which remain unnoticed by others, but lead to great results. Secret 2. Keep financial achievements and resources private. Boasting about income, expensive purchases, or successes can attract envy, unnecessary questions, and unwanted attention. Smart people know that money is a tool, not a means of self-assertion. Example: a quiet investor spends months studying the market, making calculated moves, and building a financial buffer. When the results appear, success seems sudden and surprising to everyone. No one suspects how much work and analysis went into it. By keeping resources secret, smart people maintain freedom and flexibility. They focus on real benefits and strategic goals. The less outsiders know about your capabilities, the easier it is to make decisions and manage situations. Keeping finances private isn't secrecy for its own sake. It's a conscious strategy that allows acting calmly and confidently, avoiding extra problems and envy. Smart people understand that showing their weaknesses can become a tool for others to manipulate them. Anyone noticing vulnerability instinctively evaluates how to take advantage of it. That's why smart individuals never show their fears publicly. Imagine a business meeting. Someone is nervous, afraid the project will fail, and it shows in their gestures and tone. Colleagues immediately sense that they can protect themselves at this person's expense, suggest questionable solutions, or even surpass them in the career ladder. The smart person, however, calmly controls their emotions, masking doubts so that no one sees the real picture. In personal relationships, this works the same way. When someone expresses fears or insecurities, others may use it to pressure, manipulate, or influence decisions. Smart people maintain inner stability, carefully choosing whom and when to trust their vulnerabilities, usually sharing them only with themselves or a very limited circle of trusted individuals. Secret 4. Personal development strategy. Another aspect that smart people almost never talk about is their personal growth and development strategy. Most people share advice, achievements, or the steps they take to improve themselves. Smart individuals know that every revealed step can be used by others or distract them from the main goal. For example, someone tells friends about plans to learn a new skill, starts showing progress on social media, discusses difficulties. At this point, others' attention shifts to the process rather than the result. The smart person quietly plans, develops skills, gradually accumulating knowledge, experience, and influence. In business and career, this is especially important. Smart individuals build long-term strategies. They know which skills, contacts, and resources they will need in a year, 3 years, or 5 years. All actions are aimed at achieving these goals, but the information is hidden from others. When the time comes to reveal it, the success looks sudden and impressive, though it is the result of long, methodical work. The psychology of hidden growth. The reason smart people hide their growth and weaknesses is simple. They understand that external attention and other people's opinions can disrupt the development process. External noise, advice, criticism, and envy. All of this can hinder progress. Story. A young professional secretly studied new technologies without involving colleagues, hardly discussing anything, read books, took online courses, and tested experiments in practice. After several months, he became a key specialist in the company, and no one understood where his skills came from. Smart people know that every word carries power. Words can create opportunities, shape impressions, strengthen positions, and at the same time, they can destroy trust, cause conflict, or put someone in a vulnerable position. That is why they carefully choose what to say, when to say it, and with whom to discuss certain topics. In real life, this manifests in simple but extremely effective habits. In meetings, a smart person listens attentively, asks precise, well-thought-out questions, and makes concise, meaningful comments. They never reveal extra information about their plans or internal assessments of the situation. They know that silence can be more powerful than a long speech, especially if the listeners are not fully prepared for the information. Business example. An employee attends negotiations with potential partners. Instead of immediately sharing their terms or ideas, they observe, wait, and choose the moment when the information will bring maximum advantage. Thanks to this, the smart person gains an edge that seems almost magical to others, though in reality, it is the result of careful analysis and strategic thinking. In personal relationships, controlling words is equally important. One wrong phrase said in a moment of emotion can ruin a friendship or create long-term tension. Smart people develop the habit of thinking before speaking, carefully evaluating the consequences of every statement. They use questions, clarifications, and soft formulations to guide conversations while maintaining friendliness. Bar Secret 6. Choosing your environment. One of the most powerful secrets of smart people is the ability to carefully select their environment. They understand that the people around them shape not only thoughts and emotions, but also decisions, behavior, habits, and personal energy. Negative, envious, or superficial people can slow growth, weaken inner strength, and create unnecessary problems. Story. A young employee starts a new job. The first thing they do is observe colleagues closely. Who is ready to help? Who tends to intrigue? Who can provide support or valuable advice? They remain neutral, avoid unnecessary conflicts, and gradually form a circle of people who motivate, teach, and help them develop. In personal life, the principle works the same way. Friends who constantly criticize, envy, or fail to support goals can slow down development, undermine confidence, and interfere with strategic decisions. Smart people choose to associate with those who inspire, broaden horizons, and maintain high energy levels. They understand that the influence of their environment is immense and can either accelerate growth or slow it down. The psychology of environmental and verbal influence. Why do smart people carefully control their words and choose their environment? Because they understand that the influence of others on a person's thoughts and behavior is enormous. Every conversation, every reaction shapes internal attitudes. Incorrect information or toxic people can weaken inner strength, reduce focus, and undermine motivation. Example: A young entrepreneur secretly planned a new project. They shared information only with trusted partners who could provide constructive advice and support development. Other colleagues stayed on the sidelines. As a result, decisions were made accurately, risks were minimized, and the outcome was impressive. Others considered it sudden success, unaware of the amount of analysis and preparation behind each step. Control of words and environment works synchronously. Every word spoken at the right moment strengthens influence and solidifies positions, while any unnecessary word or inappropriate contact can weaken inner strength. Smart people recognize this connection and act strategically. They create a space where they can develop, achieve goals, and remain unnoticed by envious individuals and competitors. Secret 7. The art of keeping distance and being unavailable. One of the key traits of truly intelligent people is their ability to maintain distance, even when closeness might seem advantageous. They understand that being unavailable is not arrogance or coldness. It is a tool that protects their energy, time, and personal space. They don't rush to open up to everyone. They don't share where they live, how much they earn, what they think about others, or what plans they have. There's always something about them that stays behind the curtain, and that mystery creates an aura of power and respect. The less accessible a person is, the more intriguing and respected they become. For example, a new employee joins an office. He doesn't engage in meaningless chatter, avoids gossip about management, and never overshares personal details. He's polite, attentive, yet always slightly detached. Within a month, people begin to treat him differently, not because he tries to impress, but because his silence speaks louder than words. This strategy works in personal life as well. Intelligent people don't reply instantly to every message, don't rush to every meeting, and don't try to be everywhere. Their presence is measured, their energy deliberate, and that makes them more valued. Being unavailable becomes a form of self-respect, and others naturally take them more seriously. Psychologically, distance preserves inner balance. When someone is too open, they become vulnerable to manipulation, pressure, and expectations. But when they choose to be rare, they control the dynamic of relationships. It's not a game, it's a mark of maturity. Secret 8. The art of observation and reading between the lines. Intelligent people don't just listen, they observe. They see not what someone says, but what they hide. They notice micro-expressions, pauses, tones, inconsistencies between words and actions. For them, conversation isn't simply an exchange of phrases. It's a doorway into another person's inner world. They never rush to conclusions. They first observe, analyze, and then decide. Their intuition seems natural, but in truth, it's trained awareness, a habit of noticing the unnoticed. For instance, during a meeting, one employee agrees with the boss's idea but slightly tenses his shoulders, avoids eye contact, and quickly changes the subject. Most won't notice, but a sharp observer will understand that agreement was forced. These subtle cues are the keys to reading people. In daily life, observation prevents traps. Someone may say they're happy for you, but their eyes reveal envy. Someone may promise help, yet their voice sounds unsure. The wise person doesn't argue. They simply note it and adjust their actions quietly. This ability is not magic. It's a blend of attentiveness and calm. When the mind is still, it notices more. When there's no rush, details emerge. And details change everything. Psychologically, observation grants power without domination. Those who see more control the game. They can sense tension before it arises, anticipate others' reactions, and avoid unnecessary conflict. Together, these two secrets, distance and observation, turn a person into someone who is hard to deceive, provoke, or manipulate. They see more than they say. They know more than they show. And that makes them quietly dangerous, wise, calm, and effortlessly respected. Secret 9. The power of selective honesty. Truly intelligent people know that honesty is not about saying everything you think. It asks about knowing when, how, and to whom to speak the truth. Brutal honesty often destroys more than it heals. Selective honesty, however, builds influence and respect. They don't lie. They choose silence or precision. They can acknowledge reality without revealing everything. When someone asks a personal question, they may respond with calm vagueness, steering the topic elsewhere without offending. It's a skill of defending boundaries gracefully. For example, a manager asks an employee whether he plans to leave the company. The employee smiles slightly and says, "I'm focused on finishing what I started." It's not a lie, but it also doesn't give away his plans. That's selective honesty, truth wrapped in control. People who speak without filters often regret it later. Words can't be unsaid, but the wise understand. Every truth has its time and place. Sometimes silence speaks louder. Sometimes the best answer is a question. And sometimes the wisest move is to simply smile and let the other person fill the silence with their own assumptions. Psychologically, selective honesty is a sign of inner discipline. It protects the mind from chaos and the reputation from unnecessary damage. Because those who reveal everything about themselves lose the very mystery that gives them power. The Secret 10, the art of inner calm and emotional detachment. The final secret, and perhaps the most powerful, is emotional control. Intelligent people rarely let emotions drive them. They can feel deeply, but they don't let feelings dictate their words or actions. When they are insulted, they don't rush to defend themselves. When provoked, they stay silent. When chaos erupts, they observe. Because they know. Emotion is the weapon of the manipulator, and calmness is the shield of the wise. This doesn't mean coldness. It means clarity. They can see anger rise within and still remain centered. They can feel pain, but not become pain. It's a subtle difference that separates the reactive from the conscious. For instance, imagine someone is unfairly accused in a group setting. Most people would rush to justify themselves, speak louder, explain. But the intelligent one pauses, looks calmly, and simply says, "If you truly believe that, I have nothing more to add." The silence after that carries more weight than any speech. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It's mastery of focus. You can care deeply, but still keep your peace. You can love without losing yourself. You can face storms without letting them enter your mind. Psychologically, this is the pinnacle of inner power. Emotional self-regulation allows a person to navigate life without being thrown off course by every wave. It's what gives them resilience, patience, and the quiet charisma that others instinctively trust. These final two secrets, selective honesty and emotional control, form the invisible armor of the mind. They make a person unshakable. While others chase validation, they stand still. While others react, they reflect. It's not about being better, it's about being aware. Because true intelligence is not measured by what you know, but by what you can control. Your words, your emotions, your silence. In the end, those who truly understand the hidden laws of the mind stop trying to appear smart. They become invisible. They no longer prove, compare, or crave recognition. Their mind turns inward, into observation, patience, and silence. You can recognize such people not by their words, but by their presence. They enter a room, and the air changes. Their calmness weighs more than anyone's speech. People feel it. That quiet confidence that doesn't seek attention, only direction. They have long understood that real power is never loud. It is quiet, subtle, slow. But everything it touches changes forever. They listen more than they speak. And when they finally do, their words cut deeper than any argument. They are not afraid of being misunderstood, because they know truth does not shout. It simply waits. And they wait too, for the right moment, for understanding, for clarity. The world rewards the loud, for a moment, but it worships the patient, forever. They have mastered the art of losing with dignity, of walking away without resentment, of witnessing betrayal without letting it poison their soul. For what can you take from someone who holds on to nothing but his purpose? Nothing. That is the secret behind all secrets. The calm, the observant, the silent, they are the ones who truly see. And when you meet one of them, you might not even realize who stands before you. He'll just look at you and smile slightly, not with arrogance, but with understanding, as if he had already seen your thoughts before you ever spoke them. And maybe he really did. Because the smartest person is not the one who speaks the loudest. It's the one who knows when to stay silent and still win.